Today I found this 1910s cherry wood dresser from the Salvation Army for only $35. It has marks all over the top, it has bore holes at the bottom, and it has this promo sticker on it. And it's pretty unsturdy because one of the wheels are missing, so I'm going to take off the wheels and I don't think I'm going to replace them. And I forgot to tell you, this is a Victorian piece, so yeah, 100 years old. While taking off all the handles, I found this big chunk of wood missing from the piece, so I'm going to have to try and figure out how to fix that. I'm now going to clean all the handles with some liquid green, some vinegar, and some Barkeeper's Friend, and use a wire brush and let that sit for around 15 minutes. If you guys can see this guy's Instagram name, go and comment underneath one of his posts and say, coming from JJ's Trading, because I'm restoring a piece of furniture that is from that channel. I've learned something new. When you restore furniture, it's always good to label your drawers, because if you get them in the wrong spot, they will not fit properly sometimes, so it's always good to label them. Even though sometimes they are usually already labeled, but it's always just good to relabel them. So over my career, those black stains are usually hard to get out, so I now know to use oxalic acid, and it actually works pretty well. So I'm going to apply some oxalic acid in some warm water, and I'll put a warm cloth over it and let that sit for around 20 minutes, and it's all over this piece, so we'll see how this turns out. So now the time's up to clean the handles, and while cleaning them I discovered it's kind of a brass copper colour, so I'm going to see what spray paints I can use to make this come back to life. It's time to take a look at how the oxalic acid went. Usually it doesn't go too well at the beginning. You usually have to scrape it down, and as you can see, it's working pretty well. Anyways, now what I'm going to do is just scrape the whole thing down. Before I get to sanding it down, Frankie said to like, subscribe, and comment where you're from. I'm going to use 120 grit sandpaper to sand it all down. So I got my wax crayons, and I found out the wood is cherry. So I have cherry in here. Usually it has the letter on it, and it should be C, so I'll find that. And I also got the wax crayons to do that. Sorry, the wax markers to do that, and I'm gonna do this to pick in all the bore holes. I'm gonna fill in this chunk now. I'm gonna unscrew the top. There's screws everywhere. I'm gonna chisel this more out and then glue this on because it kind of matches alright. Yep, just fine. I'm just gonna mark out so I don't chisel too far out. I recommend getting a sharpening block. These are very good for making your tools more effective, like your chisels and all your other sharp tools, and it works very well. I made it fit perfectly, so I'm going to apply some glue onto that, and I'm going to clamp it down. I'm now going to use my cherry wax crayon to fill in all the bore holes. The thing with old pieces, they always tend to have these like cool curvatures and these lines and everything. Sometimes it's hard to sand, but there is always tools out there to make it easier, and I just took a little like credit card type thing and sanded it down. I'm now going to sand down the filled in bore holes with 120 grit sandpaper so I can make it blend in better. So I've decided to go with a copper color, and I'm actually surprised on how it looked. I thought it was going to be really ugly, but when we got to the end result, it actually looked better than I thought it would. Mission successful, so now I'm just going to cut it to size with the dresser, and this took me some time, but hey, good things take time, so I'm just going to cut off all the block. I'm now just going to give that a quick sand down with 120 grit sandpaper so it makes it smoother. I'm starting to use this one stain a lot, and I love it a lot. This teak oil stain. It makes the wood grain show very, very well. And I've decided I'm only going to do it to the sides and the edges, and I think I'm going to paint the rest. So I'm going to paint the drawers, and I'm going to paint the top. So I'm going to first prime the whole thing down so the paint will stick better to it and it won't damage easier. What I tend to see sell better is this grey colour when I use it on these kind of vintage dresses. So it's kind of sloppy. I'm going to need to put some water in there to mix it down and water it down a little bit so it could go for my spray gun. And now I'm just going to spray gun the whole thing down. I'm now going to use my marker to blend in this crack that I filled in with the wooden block. It's time to assemble the whole piece back together. Is the final result worth your subscribe, like, and comment? Let me know what I should do better next time. Please check out these other two videos if you like my content.